They laughed when she stepped onto the stage. Her hands trembled as she clutched the hem of her worn-out dress, eyes fixed on the dusty wooden floor beneath her feet. "This will teach her," one of the elders whispered, his voice dripping with scorn. At 16, Mina was the subject of cruel jokes in her village, not because she had done something wrong, but because she was different. She was heavier than most girls her age, quiet, and often lost in her thoughts. That day, they decided her punishment would be to send her away to a poor farmer on the far edge of the valley. To them, it was a way to shame her. To her, it felt like being thrown away. But what no one in that hall knew, what even Mina herself didn't know, was that this poor farmer held more wealth and power than the entire village combined, and her life was about to change forever. The journey to the farmer's land was long. The road was uneven, the air heavy with the scent of earth and wild grass. Mina's mind raced with questions. What kind of man was this farmer? Would he treat her like the villagers did, mocking her size, belittling her dreams? The cart jolted to a stop in front of a modest wooden gate. It looked like any other farm she had ever seen, small, humble, with a few goats grazing nearby. A tall, withered man stepped out, his eyes sharp but kind. "You must be Mina," he said, his voice deep, steady. "You'll work here now." For the first few weeks, Mina struggled. The work was hard, feeding animals, hauling buckets of water, weeding the fields. Every night she collapsed into bed sore and exhausted. But the farmer, whom everyone called Uncle Balin, never once spoke to her in anger. He didn't mock her when she couldn't lift something heavy. He showed her how to use her strength in different ways, how to carry more by balancing the load, how to move faster without tiring. "Your body is not your enemy, Mina," he said one evening as they worked side by side in the fading light. "It's a tool. Learn how to use it, and it will serve you well." Months passed, and Mina began to notice strange things about the farm. Despite its modest size, Uncle Balin seemed to have resources no other farmer did. When a neighboring family couldn't afford medicine for their sick child, Balin provided it without hesitation. When drought struck, his crops still flourished while others withered. One day, Mina wandered farther than usual while tending the goats, and stumbled upon a hidden valley beyond a thick row of trees. There, stretching as far as her eyes could see, were lush fields of golden grain, orchards heavy with fruit, and herds of cattle grazing under the open sky. She ran back to Balin, breathless, confused. He looked at her with a knowing smile. "You found it, didn't you?" he asked. That night, he told her the truth. He wasn't just a farmer. He owned thousands of acres, spread across valleys and hills, and his influence reached far beyond their village. He had chosen to live simply, close to the earth, because true wealth wasn't in gold or titles, it was in the freedom to live as you wished and the power to help others without expecting anything in return. Nina's life began to shift. Under Balin's guidance, she learned about agriculture, trade, and leadership. He encouraged her to read, to write, to think beyond the small world she had known. One day, he told her, "You'll run this land." She laughed at first, thinking it impossible. But as the seasons turned, she grew stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. Years later, when Balin grew old, Nina took over the farm. The same villagers who once mocked her now came to her for help, humbled by the woman she had become. She provided jobs to the poor, food to the hungry, and protection to the weak. She never forgot the day they tried to shame her by sending her away, because that day had given her the greatest gift of her life. Standing at the edge of the Golden Valley, Nina watched the sun rise over the land she now called her own. The laughter that had once cut her like a knife was now nothing more than a distant echo. Her heart was steady, her purpose clear. "They thought they were punishing me," she whispered to herself, smiling, "but they only set me free."